This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba for another technical diving tips, techniques, and trips video. Hello divers, thanks for joining me today. The subject of today's video is assembling and using a set of manifolded tiny doubles with the double tank adapter. In video 183, I discussed the use of the double tank adapter to dive with independent tiny doubles, and in particular using AL40s. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about some things that you'll need to do in order to dive with a set of manifolded tiny doubles AL40s. Alright, so we need to go over some basic tank geometry to start with. And whenever we have a manifold like this, it's originally set up and designed and manufactured to be used with AL80s or with HP100s. And the distance between the center of the tank valve here and the center of the tank valve here has to be approximately 8 3/8 to 8.5 inches. So one of the problems we have when we're using AL40s or LP50s is that the diameter of the tank is much smaller. So in order to get the manifold to work with a set of tiny doubles, we have to make some adjustments. Alright, so let's take a look at the back so we can talk about the adjustments that we need. Now, since the diameter of the AL40 is smaller than the AL80, we need to move the tanks apart a little bit in order to be able to have the manifold work properly, to be spaced properly. So what we need to do with the double tank adapter, this is the central channel, we need to add a spacer on this side between the central channel and the single tank adapter, and another spacer between the central channel and the single tank adapter on this side. So these spacers are 3/4 of an inch thick, so if we add a spacer on this side and add a spacer on that side, and we still use the central channel and the two single tank adapters, we now have a distance between the two tanks that is approximately 8.5 inches, which enables us to install the manifold. Okay, so spacing the tanks further apart because the AL40s, the tiny doubles are smaller, is one thing that's necessary in order to dive a set of manifolded tiny doubles. Now the second thing is also related to the diameter of the tanks that we need to address. And again, the AL40 is 5.25 inches. So in order to actually use this with a set of tiny doubles, the other thing we need to do is we need to make sure that the mounting bolts that go through the plate do not stick too far out. In general, when we set up a set of manifolded doubles or even a set of independent doubles with the double tank adapter, we install the bolt so that the end of the bolt is approximately flush with the plane of the tanks. So since our tanks are 5.25 inches in diameter, what that means is we need to reduce the length of the bolt between the flush side of the tank and where the bolt comes out of the central channel. Okay, so what that means is we need to shorten that distance. So in order to shorten the distance, the second thing we need to do is we need to move this section of the bolt back. So we have to move it out back approximately 1 inch in order to account for the difference. All right, so we have to adjust the top one and we have to adjust the bottom one. And if we do both of those adjustments, the spacer and the bolt, then you can actually dive with a set of manifolded tiny doubles using the double tank adapters. Now, one other thing that is a thing that you might want to consider is that because these tanks are lighter, you can actually use stainless steel hose clamps at the top and the bottom, or you could use a single tank band. When you assemble the tanks, one of the things you need to do is make sure that the tank bands are already installed in each single tank adapter on each side of the double tank adapter so that you'll be able to put the tanks together again. Okay? Alright, so those are two things you need to do with the double tank adapter if you like to dive a set of manifolded tiny doubles. This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.